Hello everyone, my name is John Odom and I'm a drum teacher here in East Orlando. Today I'm actually filming here at Orlando Fine Arts Academy. We are a full music and art school here in Lake Nona, and you may actually hear other lessons going on around me. There's actually a drum lesson going on in the practice room next door. So if you hear outside voices and instruments, it's because we have other teachers that are teaching right now, which is fantastic. What I want to talk to you about today, what I want to show you and have you work on, is actually practicing rudiments, okay, and different subdivisions, and also incorporating the bass drum and hi-hat, or incorporating the feet. I want to give credit to a drum teacher that I saw, actually it was on Drumeo, Frank Briggs, and in that lesson, what he talked about, he said when he teaches his students, when they're working on rudiments, he has them go ahead and work with their feet also, not only with your hands. Now, if you're away from a drum set, sometimes you may not be able to have access to your drum set. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show a way to even use your hands and feet even away from the drum set. So basically what I want to talk about here is we can start off with just playing eighth notes on the snare drum, okay? And when we do this, it's very important, it's crucial that we count. Counting is huge. Anytime you're playing, whether it's rudiments, playing a groove, quarter note grooves, 16th notes, eighth notes, whatever that is, counting is your key to know where you're at, what you're playing, what comes next, okay? So if we start off with just single strokes on the snare drum, okay? And just simply right, left, or left, right, whichever hand you want to start with. And just playing eighth notes. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now to that, I'm going to add my bass drum on count 1 and count 3 with my right foot. So it's going to be this right here. It's going to be 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay? And it's a good idea, if you haven't done this before, to break it down. When I'm teaching this to my students, depending on the student, where they're at as far as their level of learning and coordination between their hands and feet, I might have them go ahead and try the bass drum on counts 1 and 3, hi-hat on 2 and 4. If they haven't done this before, I break it down. Usually start off with the bass drum first. Now we're going to go ahead and play the hi-hat on count 2 and count 4. So you're going to play it just like this. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and you would just continue with that, okay? Now, when you feel comfortable playing the bass drum on counts 1 and 3, hi-hat on counts 2 and 4, then we can try to put it together, okay? And then get a continuous pattern going. So that's going to be played just like this. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Now from there, of course, with the drum set being such a versatile instrument, so many options to play grooves, fills, rudiments, ideas. We can take this a lot of different directions, okay? We can keep the same pattern with the bass drum and hi-hat. We can play a double stroke roll, or double strokes on the snare drum. Counted the same way, still playing eighth notes, would go just like this. And you would want to practice starting with each hand also. Don't only just start with your strong hand. Very important to also practice starting with the weaker hand. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 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 Another pattern we can play that is also counted the same way is the paradiddle rudiment. Now, if you're not familiar with what a paradiddle is played, and I'll show you up here so you can see it. It's going to be played right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Paradiddle, paradiddle. So if you're not familiar with the paradiddle rudiment, it's very important to get that hand pattern down. You may have to start with just that on the snare drum. That's perfectly fine. Okay? Then when you're ready, add your right foot of your bass drum on count 1 and count 3. When you're ready with the hi-hat, counts 2 and counts 4 with the left foot. Let me show you how to play it all together. 1, 2, ready, play. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And of course from there, the sky's the limit. You can start playing all 4 quarter notes on the bass drum. We can play quarter notes on the hi-hat, okay? And play 1 and 3 on the bass drum. We can certainly play 1/8 notes on the hi-hat, 1/8 notes on the bass drum. We can play offbeat notes, 1/8 notes on the hi-hat. So there's a lot of different variations, and from there we can move it around the drum set. We can start playing on the toms. We can even play on the cymbals. And basically the idea behind this is to get the coordination happening, get the hands and feet working together. When I get a student who has challenges getting the hands and feet to work together, getting them coordinated, this is an exercise I have them do. This is to help them work with that. Now, a book that can certainly help with that is one of the top books in the drumming world. It's a book that is considered the Bible in the drumming community. And one of them, that's the book Stick Control. Why Stick Control? Well, because Stick Control has hundreds of different exercises, all different sticking patterns. It's written by George Lawrence Stone. Okay, it's one of the top books in the world of drumming. And even just on the first page, which is actually page 5 in the book, okay, there's 24 different exercises. And it's just all sticking patterns. They're all counted the same way. They're all 1/8 notes, okay? 2 measures in each exercise. And what you can do for practice, and I actually do use this book for part of my practice also to work on this very concept. And as you get farther into the book, there's some pretty challenging patterns that can come up, especially when you start adding more notes, you know, again, offbeat 1/8 notes on the hi-hat or 1/8 notes or, you know, quarter notes on the bass drum. You can really come up with some really cool ideas. But as you go through this book and learn the sticking pattern first and then start adding your bass drum and hi-hat, you can really come up with some great ideas. Now I'm going to show how to work on this away from the kit, especially if you have a practice pad.